have to talk about Formula One. Maybe not today, but
Like with Verstappen and how like no one can even touch him and like what's even the point?
right. And just in general, the Drive to Survive. Have you heard about that?
No, what's that?
A documentary series. So I'm going to suggest that you watch an episode as real as actual homework, and
Oh,
then we can talk about it. Write this down. Season 3, episode 9.
okay.
I don't think Baylie wrote it down.
You can divide 9 by 3, so I'll remember that. And Luis, I know what has watched it.
Yeah, I'm sure he has.
Season 3, episode 9.
It's called Man on Fire, which kind of gives it away. But it's not exactly what you think.
Oh, is it the one that what's that guy's name?
Roman Grosjean.
Oh, no, that's not the one I'm thinking of. I'm thinking about that other guy who was in, they made that movie about them with
James Hunt and
Yes. Not that guy
yeah,
though.
no, this is a modern.
Oh. Did he die?
No spoilers.
No.
Oh.
Yeah, that kind of ruins it.
Okay.
It'll be an interesting conversation.
I think it's interesting how, like, they really have to be athletes and then all the physical stuff that they go through in the car, like the heat in the car and the, just everything.
People will say they're not athletes. The people who say that have no clue what they're talking about.
So you were an athlete, Walt.
All right.
I was, yeah. I did like half a dozen races, and I was not embedded in the...
You're a dabbler.
Yeah.
Well, if you meet Paul Newman at a race, I think you're more than a dabbler.
Did you meet Paul Newman?
Don't you remember that? Oh, wait, you weren't on the podcast then when we got that story about Paul Newman. They had a one-night stand, Baylie.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Tell her that story.
We were at Lime Rock, parked right next to him. He had a motorhome, but it wasn't a big fancy thing. And Joanne would sit up on top and watch the races in her folding chair, and she'd knit. It was an enormously hot day, and I came out just covered in sweat and took the driving, you have to wear the layers of protection, and took it off. And I was looking for somewhere to put it, and he said, "Hey, use the clothesline here," and he let me put my suits on his clothesline to dry them out. And then we had to talk about the weather. That was pretty much the story. But he just he seemed like, people always say that about celebrities, but he seemed like a nice guy. And his whole mode of operation at that point was just to not accept any interest from people. He just kind of did what he did, and when people started bugging him, he'd just walk away and acted like a normal person.
Right.
So.
Was he hawking his dressing while he was there?
Hawking his salad dressing?
Yeah, he'd bring along cases of Newman's Own and try to sell them.
His charity stuff?
He had a hand cart pushing him out. By the way.
That was 60s, wasn't it?
No, I think it was early 70s.
60s, I think. Or was it 71? It was...
Yeah.
Woodford Sundance was, but it was in that era.
Okay.
But that brings to mind another celebrity story that I remembered after how many years ago that we had that celebrity show. I was working at the PBS station in Schenectady. I got a call like Saturday night to take a picture of Leonard Nimoy Sunday morning at 7:00 because they were doing some kind of promotion, and they had a giant billboard up on a building in the middle of State Street in Schenectady. So I parked by the side of the road at 6:30 and waited, and finally this car taking him to the airport came along. They stopped the car, and he jumped out of the back, and he said, "Where do you want me?" And I said, "Well, if you stand right here, and I can get the billboard behind you." And then I crouched down, and I took a picture, and then I said, "And if we could just get a couple more, I know you're on the..." And he said, "See ya," and got in the car and took off. And he did it not in a nice way. I mean, he was just so pissed off that he had to stop on the way to the airport.
So that Hey Geographic documentary on him was not quite accurate.
No, not completely. At least on 7:00 on a Sunday morning in Schenectady, he was not a happy guy.
He stepped on your hand and...
Yeah.
Hey, remember when we had Patrick Stewart do that voiceover for one of our videos?
Yeah.
That was cool.
And we told him we were all in there listening. He should have charged us more.
Right.
Yeah.
For the audience. Have you seen that Extras episode with him on it? That show Extras with Ricky Gervais.
Remember, I don't watch TV like you guys do.
Do you like Ricky Gervais?
I do. I like him in small doses.
Oh, because he had this show where he and his friend were extras, movie extras, and so they would have people on the show like playing themselves. And Patrick Stewart was one of the funniest ones,
Yeah,
God.
those were all good, but he was great.
Yeah, and Ian McKellen too they were very funny.
Speaking of shows, have you seen I Think You Should Leave?
Oh, I love that show.
A guy I work with, we share an office, and every now and then he'll be chuckling, and you got to come over here, and he pulls it up, and he's like laughing before it even starts.
Right.
He laughs all the way through it. And I just this morning read an article that was in last weekend's New York Times Magazine on him. Tim Robinson. Yeah.
Tim Robinson.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna have to find that.
Yeah, suddenly the word has gotten out. Yeah. It's the third season, but suddenly it's getting famous. It just kills me.
Oh my God. It's funny because I looked at that title for like 2 years on Netflix, before I finally, the only reason I started watching it was because the Kids in the Hall were doing their reboot. And so someone was saying, if you don't know Kids in the Hall, but you can't wait for the second season of I Think You Should Leave, you should watch Kids in the Hall. And I was like, oh, okay, maybe I would like this. And oh my God,
guy's face is amazing.
You can't even really talk about a sketch because they go so off the rails. You can't. I mean,
it's like they start off. This is an odd premise, and then all of a sudden it'll veer off.
It gets even odder.
That's what this article talks about too.
One of the funniest ones though was one that you can describe, the one with the 3 women having brunch. And 2 of them start posting on Instagram about, having brunch with my BFFs, blah, blah, blah. Right. And do you know Vanessa Baylie from Saturday Night Live?
I'm sure I know her.
I didn't know who she was until I saw the show, but she's really funny. And she starts posting and she's like, having lunch with these pig dicks. And we're just a bunch of, just going. Just going.
And that's so finely tuned, the way they go back and forth on that.
Oh my God.
Well, apparently the guy that he does the program with, they met as writers on Saturday Night Live.
I guess.
And they're like polar opposites from each other, but they found their comedy was so similar.
They said nothing they ever wrote on that ever got on the air.
I can imagine.
Right. Yeah. He said that even the sketches that he was in when he was on Saturday Night Live, they would get cut all the time.
I tell people, watch the first episode of that, and if you get that, you'll get the rest of it. But that is the basic. Did you see that, Baylie?
I'm not sure which one I saw that he was showing me, but
basic, simple premise of the door that you can push out.
Yes.
And just take an idea like that and to make that work, I thought.
Yeah,
and
so
some
good.
of them, like the ones that the little buff boys. The one where there's this it's like this convention for some.
I didn't see that one.
Oh, you gotta.
I haven't seen all of it.
Oh, okay. It's like this this guy who's like an MC, and he's doing this event for, I think it's like a corporate audience or something, and it's the little buff boys where they bring out like a bunch of little kids and like.
There's a baby one. I saw that.
Wait, yeah, that's another one with the same guy.
Buff.
These kids come out in these little like suits, like little weightlifter suits, and it's just going on. I mean, it's just beyond weird. I mean, like I feel like the Kids in the Hall almost never did anything quite that weird, but I guess it's a matter of taste. They did some stuff that was pretty weird too. Chicken Lady and all that, but
it's a little uneven like any sketch show. But some funny stuff.
Yeah, and they have some good people guesting on there sometimes. Like the 3rd season. Did you notice this? Did you watch the 3rd season yet, Wally?
No, I haven't.
Oh, because I feel like in some instances he's got like guest stars kind of doing what playing the character he would have played, like not Jason Schwartzman. He was in one, but there's someone else who does like the character that he would have done, so I don't know if that's like how they're branching out or something, but I don't know. Yeah, that is a funny show.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I kept ignoring it because it just seemed like,
Right.
Yeah.
It takes some marketing to make things work.
Yeah, it is.
How's your phone, Baylie?
It's good. It's working.
This could be a bridge that we use to go from story to story. How's your phone, Baylie?
How's your phone, Baylie?
Yeah.
And then sometimes you could make it ominous.
Right.
You know.
How's your phone?
How's your phone, Baylie?
Right.
Brah.
Or creepy, right?
Yeah.
How's your phone, Baylie?
Did you know that all those trailer sounds have names?
I bet.
There's always the whoosh.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
There's one they call BRAAM.
Yeah.
So here's something. This is an alignment of the stars. We talked about Lake Mungo.
Yeah.
Or Grace talked about
Yeah.
Lake Mungo. We didn't see it.
Well, maybe that's your homework, Walt.
I looked it up. 96% critics, 63% audience. It wasn't so well received, but and there are a couple of videos on YouTube about from people saying why it's the most terrifying film they've ever seen. So then we talked about Lake Mungo, and that got us to Blazing Saddles and Mongo.
Oh, yeah.
I looked that up. Part of the reason that was so funny is Alex Karras.
He was a football player.
Yeah, and he apparently he had a reputation in the 50s and 60s as being not the brightest guy, but when you wanted a monster.
Oh.
So when he punches the horse, that kind of resonated as exactly the kind of thing that Alex Karras would do. Yeah, it had a kind of a background like that.
I didn't realize that.
Anyway.
How's your phone, Grace?
I heard the obituary for Ed Ames.
Yeah. Well, didn't you think who the fuck even knows who that is anymore?
Well, exactly. But I mean...
Right? I barely knew who he was.
He was 95. He was a singer as well as a thing. But he's famous for the clip on Johnny Carson. You'd have to look that up to see that. They said one of the longest recorded laughs on live TV. But
for what reason?
He teaches Johnny how to throw a hatchet. They have an outline of a guy standing on a board, and he throws the hatchet, and it goes right into the guy's crotch. So then the handle is sticking up. It looks like the guy has an erection.
Nice. And that got the longest laugh in television history.
Thank God.
The audience is dying, and nobody knows what to say. And Johnny says, and I didn't even know you were Jewish.
Oh, I remember this. I do.
And he was Jewish, even though he played a Native American on Daniel Boone. But his character was Mingo. There we got Lake Mungo. Mingo. And of course, mango, we know what mango is. So the only one, we're only missing mango.
Well, that's the Chris Kattan character. Remember that? Mango. Maybe that was the nickname that Mengele's friends gave him. Mango.
Yeah. It could, well, actually, Ed Ames' character, his full name was Paramingo, and Ed also played Mingo's evil twin brother, Taramingo.
Oh, come on. You're making this up.
No, I'm not. So the only vowel...
And Daniel Boone?
Daniel Boone,
I never saw that show.
The only vowel we're missing is E for mango. So I looked that up.
Nothing.
There's a...
Mango.
There's a Mango hair salon on Lee-on-Sea, England. And there's Mango's Pizza in Newton, New Jersey. Those are the only Mangoes on Google.
How about MYNGO? Did you look at that?
No.
Come on.
That's stretching it. That's pushing the premise.
It is sometimes why. I don't think it's stretching it.
Thanks, Grace. Backing me up on that.
We're a little bit more flexible than you are, I guess, Wally.
Yeah.
So when you have time on your hands and you have
Mango.
Google, you can find out a lot of stuff. So we covered them.
I got way too much homework already.
But when I heard Ed Ames died, I thought, wow, Mongo, Mingo.
Mingo, Mongo, Mungo. Yeah, Lake Mungo, it's so scary because if you watch the end credits, you see where her ghost really was. Oh my God. It's a very disturbing movie. Emotionally disturbing too.
I watched the trailer and
It's very slow moving. It's, a lot of people I think would not like it.
Now, when I went down that Mungo rabbit hole, I came across something else.
Jesus! How do you come up with these phrases?
I had to look up Blazing Saddles, of course, to find out, I couldn't remember the football player's name. So Mel Brooks, his character was Governor William J. Lepetamain, but Mel also played an Indian chief, an aviator applicant, the voice of a German dancer, and the voice of a grouchy moviegoer. So then I thought the name Petamain was familiar. You know this, Grace?
I do, because I'm with film.
So I thought it was something to do with like rabid dogs or something. Somehow I connected it with that, but it's not. Petamain was the stage name of the late 19th century French flatulist. Have you seen the movie?
I feel like there was film of him, and that's why I know him, but maybe not. I can't recall.
There's a 1979 British short film based on his life. I don't think it's real film.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
It was, yeah.
I've seen pictures of him.
Joseph Pujol was his real name, who could fart at will and whose farting performances at the Moulin Rouge in Paris drove his audiences to hysterics. Pujol was able to orchestrate his farts to music to the delight of the Parisian audiences. By ingesting charcoal, Pujol was able to generate the gastric gases essential to his stage act. For years, he was the toast of Paris. But with the passing years, Pujol lost his muscular control, causing his act to fail in a cacophony of flatulent explosions.
Cacophony of flatulent explosions.
I wonder when the first time that happened was, and how,
Oops!
My research ended there, but I'm assuming that if he was the most famous flatulist, that must have been a whole genre, a whole, category of entertainment.
Oh my God.
Didn't we talk about the farting contest records that my father used to
That's why I
listen
thought
to?
I should bring it up.
Yeah, okay, that was way in the beginning.
In the farting contest
Yeah.
I would have with my sister. Well, we didn't actually fart. We would just we had the board of fart. It was like it was like a board of directors, but it was the board of fart.
Like that, yeah.
How do you even come up with that?
And it's interesting in France that would be so popular. I wonder if any other country.
It's before phones.
Well, they like Jerry Lewis.
They like Jerry Lewis.
There you go.
Yeah, enough said.
Oh my God.
That was my big note for this episode.
That was a good one, Walt. Wow.
That was a lot. It was a lot. Considering you were wearing eye patches off and on last month.
Do you think all the flatulists were French? Or would French flatulism be a specific subgenre of flatulism?
I guess more homework for me, I guess. Petamain, does that mean anything?
Well, what's pet? P-E-T is, I'd have to look it up. Sorry.
I'll look it up.
I got nothing. I was actually going to go pull up my French dictionary, but you go right ahead.
The petoman meaning. Oh, okay. It says, that's interesting. His stage name combines the French verb péter, to fart.
There we go.
With the men, maniac.
So farting mania?
Fartomaniac.
I like that.
Oh my God. The profession is referred to as, where did they go? Oops. The profession is referred to as flatulist, farteur, or fartiste.
So a farting artist is a fartiste. I like that.
Fartiste. Oh, whoa. It was a common misconception that Pujol passed intestinal gas as part of his stage performance. Rather, he was allegedly able to inhale or move air into his rectum and then control the release of that air with his anal sphincter muscles.
Oh, so he was really much more talented than we at first thought.
Than we even realized.
Yeah.
Just think of the stories his proctologist could tell us.
Well, and how did you discover that, right? How did you discover you could do that?
Do that, right.
Walt?
Well, I'm trying to imagine doing it now. I'm on the verge of trying to do it.
Maybe it started like one of his siblings is a farting contest between the two of them.
I'm on the verge of trying to look at while he's trying to do it. You can see it in his face.
Get the air to go down your esophagus instead of your larynx. It's a reverse.
Well, it almost sounded to me like he was sucking it up through that end.
Right.
Well,
his bowels.
I think there's a lot of research left to be done.
Yeah.
We just don't know enough.
And I'm not going to do.
But if in the next couple of weeks I manage to do that, I'll let you know.
Yeah.
I'm sure you will. You will. God. I know you will. This mission, should you choose to accept it.
Oh my God.
So, well, I have some other notes, but I think
see what I'm talking about? You're just like a therapist. Okay, our time is up. And then that's it for you. You don't care.
Right. Baylie, how's your phone?
Is that the button? The button? The button?
What the fuck?
Snapped again?
It's I don't know why. It's when it goes to the energy saver mode.
So are we stopping
I'll send you what I have.
So are we stopping the recording now?
I'll send you what I have.
I'm stopping it? Yes.